I am not, now I've got the microphone on. Okay, there we go. So we are going to be working today on setting up the new version of Wyze Sense. And I've been sitting on this for a little while, not for any other reason than I was busy, but also because they were requiring initially that you had to go with the subscription plan to use it, and there's a new version of it, same hardware, same exact hardware, same box even, but now they've changed how it works. So I thought it would be best to wait until it was working like the old one, which a lot of people liked. So that is the plan for this morning, and I'm doing this really early today because, and William Wilkinson is here, because I am heading to the Big Apple in a little while for a meeting, and I think I'll be able to show you what I'm looking at with a video when I get back on tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. And what we're looking at today is the new version of Wyze Sense. Now these were these little sensors that were not very expensive. They were short-lived though, and what they did is they worked with the Wyze cameras. I think I have one laying around here somewhere. They work with the Wyze cameras, and what they did was allowed you to set up these little magnetic sensors for doors. They had an infrared sensor on it, and you needed one of the Wyze cameras, and there was a little receiver that you would install in the camera. I really liked the system, but they discontinued it. I think a little too early, but maybe there were some reasons for that. So what they've done instead now is they've put together this home monitoring thing, which makes it more of a home security system. And I think you can buy the sensors separately. I have to check and see here. Because there's a hub now, and then there's additional sensors. And so you can get the motion sensor for $15. And the other ones are called the contact sensors. Let me see what those are selling for. Yeah, so you can buy the contact sensors for $30 and the infrared sensor for $15. And there's a pack of 3 contact sensors. And then there's a base station that these things talk to. So they used to talk to the cameras with a little receiver in it, but now they do something different. So what I wanted to do was wait until this was subscription-free, or there was a subscription-free option. Martin Paolini is here. Hello there. And to answer Heffen's question, yeah, so my understanding is that you can use it without the subscription. There's another bundle that they sell that I think requires it that costs a little bit less. So this one on Amazon I think is $99 right now. Let's see. Yeah, $99 on Amazon. They have one that they sell directly that's $59, but you have to have the home monitoring thing installed on it. But if you don't do the home monitoring, everything else works, but it's going to the app. So it will work as it does here, but you don't have the home monitoring service. That's my understanding of how this works. And then you get a keypad so you can enable and disable it without having to load the app up, which I guess is useful. Now, in full disclosure, they sent this to the channel free of charge about a year ago, so I'm way behind on this. But I did end up buying one because I thought there was a different bundle than this one that they were selling, so I have 2 now. So I might send the other one back just because, well, we'll see. Maybe we'll have a need to put it in more places. I'm curious as to what the range is going to be on one of these things. So we will take it out of the box, and we'll see what is inside. And if you're watching on Amazon or on YouTube, feel free to ask questions as we take it out of the box and try to figure out how it works. And I'm guessing there's going to be a big firmware update on this thing when we first get it going. Now, this is the hub component. And this is what communicates with the sensors. And I'm going to plug it directly into my network. There appears to be a Ethernet connector on here, and it's powered by a USB connection there. It'd be great if it was power over Ethernet. And you can't have a home product without carpet. So you've got like a little fabric carpety thing on the top of it here. And I'm assuming that it probably works over Wi-Fi also, but I'm going to connect it directly to the to the Ethernet. Let's see what else is in here. Michael wants to know, how about a panic button? I won't buy one because I'm disabled. Oh my, I'm very sorry to hear that. I don't know if they have a panic button specifically, but I think if you put the control panel that I'll show you in a minute close to it, I think there might be a panic button on that. We'll take a look. So we've got an Ethernet cable and a power cable here. And it looks like your standard 5-volt USB connector. Yeah, so 5 volts, 1 amp. So just about any, I have a USB power supply that I'll be using to test this out. So that is the base station component right here. And then we're going to dig a little deeper into the box here. So you got a nice big sticker if you want that. And here's the user manual. So I'm curious about how to set this up. And I'm going to set it up with the home monitoring just to see what it's like, but again, you don't need to pay for it anymore. Okay, so here, I'll give you the view here. The Sense Hub so it does work over Wi-Fi. So you can plug it in directly or use Wi-Fi. I'm going to plug it in directly just to reduce the amount of complexity of this stream. And what we'll do is we'll connect up, one of the sensors and get all that stuff going. All right, so let's see what else we got in the box here. So we have a motion sensor. And you can buy these separately. And we'll take a look and see what this looks like. This is a lot larger than the motion sensor on the old version of it. And this is something you would put in your room to detect motion. And then what you can do, of course, is set it up. And I'm going to make some notes here as I'm going. What you can do is set this up with rules. So for example, I could have lights turn on when the motion sensor goes off, for example. But give me a second here. Let me just get this document started here. So we want to know about range, battery life of the sensors. And let's just make some notes here. And I'm going to pull this tab because this is where the battery is located. And now it is activated. Now what I'm going to do here is crack it open, because I'm curious as to what kind of battery it uses. My guess is that it uses a, one of those watch batteries like the other ones did. I should get my spudger out. Get my spudger out. See if I can get in there easily. Because the old ones were really easy to open up. But I'm just curious what it has for a battery in here. There we go. Oh, AAAs. Look at that. Bigger batteries than before. And they have adhesive on the back of this, so you can stick it to things. So that is the motion sensor. Next up are the entry sensors. I'm just going to open up one of these just so we can set it up and test it. And this is also a lot larger than the prior edition. And this works with a magnet. So you put one on the door and one on the door frame, and when when it breaks that connection is when it will fire off an alert. And the other one had these really strong magnets on it. This one doesn't, so doesn't stick together all the time. Although it looks like it. Let's take a look and see what this one has for batteries. I have a feeling this one's probably also a AAA. Yep, AAA in here also. So they're using more robust batteries that will probably last longer. Yes, it's got a magnet on it, but it's a lot weaker than it used to be. And you'll see here, watch, when I separate it. So see that light on there? See? So that's going to send off the notification. And when I put it back together, no light. So that's how that works. So put that right here for now. And I'm going to take the other one out of this box, but we're not going to open this one up right away. But you get 2 of those. All right, next up. All right, now to answer Michael's question, there does not appear to be a panic button on this. So I don't know if you could program a button to be a panic button. Now this keypad, and we'll look into that question as we're working our way through, actually feels like a pretty nice, pretty heavy-duty keypad. I think this is weatherproof, so I believe you could put it outside, although you probably don't want to, right? Because you don't want to make it easy for somebody to come in and disarm something. I'm just curious what this one uses for batteries. So you can slide this down. So there's a mounting plate on here. So you can use the adhesive or you can screw it into the wall. And my guess is that this is also going to be AAA powered. Let's take a look. It does not want to open. Maybe it's going to slide down. There it goes. Slides down. Okay. Yep. Oh, these are AA's in this one. This one uses AA's. So everything is battery powered. You don't have to wire up anything. And RW Stark has the original ones. Yeah, I like the original ones. I liked how minimal they were. I think they worked pretty good. Paul is here. Hello there. And William just got the new Eternals movie. I have to get into the... Oh, wait a minute. Yes. You know what? There is a panic button on the side. You're right. There you go. And because this is battery powered, you could stick this, you know, to next to the bed or something and hit that button. So it does look like there is a panic button there. All right, so now we're going to power up the base station. And then we'll play around with it a little bit. All right, so let's get the base station in view here. Connor wants to know, does it call the cops for you? Yes, if you pay for the monitoring service, it will call the police. So it'll work like your standard home security system in that regard. All right, so let's get this thing connected to power and Ethernet. So I'm going to connect it up to... I have a power source on the floor here, so I'm going to connect that up with that. Get that going. I don't think I've said hello to everybody yet, so hi. So we're starting a little bit early today on the stream because I am due to head out to New York City this afternoon for a meeting. So I need to try to get some stuff done before I head out. And this was one of the things I wanted to get done, kind of get this thing set up so I can shoot a video tomorrow when I get back. Or try to shoot a video tomorrow when I get back. Okay, so we'll plug that in. And we'll let it connect up here. All right, so we'll let that...
Hello, please follow instructions in the Wyze app to complete setup.
Okay, so it's like all the other Wyze things. It talks to you to tell you what to do. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to go to my Wyze app. And you can see that here. So let's get everything arranged here. And so this is now, I plug this into my Ethernet network. You don't have to. You can do it over Wi-Fi. And we're going to hit the plus button. And we're going to add a device. And I think this might be under sensors, maybe. Yep, Wyze Sense Hub. So I'm going to click on Wyze Sense Hub here. And get going with that. All right, so I'm plugged in to my router, so we're good to go there. I'm going to hit next. I raise the antennas, so we're good there. Press the reset button on the back of your hub. So we're going to hit the button here in the back. And Bally Daly and Alberto, thank you for the follow. Now it's supposed to say ready to connect, which I did not hear, but I suspect that because I am like a year behind here, that maybe that's the new thing it says. Let's see. Let's see if it finds it. If not, we'll, yep. Oh, make sure you've powered on your hub. You couldn't find it. Okay, so let's try this again. So I'll hold the button down a little bit longer. This, by the way, is par for the course on my channel here, is that things never work right on the first go.
Hello. Please follow instructions in the Wyze app to complete setup.
Okay. So that's the first step. Let's see what happens here. All right. You know what's funny is I disconnected power and it's still blinking. I wonder if it works as power over Ethernet, because this I have connected to power over Ethernet. It must be a battery backup inside. That must be it, because it's still running. So there must be a battery inside. All right, let's try this again here. We're going to repower it on here. So let's try again. Because it's supposed to say ready to connect. Yeah, Cage says Murphy's Law. Yeah, this is about, like, every time we do something like this on the channel, it always never works right on the first go. Because it needs to say ready to connect.
Follow instructions in the Wyze app to complete setup.
All right, let me go back here because I wonder if there is actually a difference between I'm just looking through some of their other products here. So raise the two antennas. Press the reset button. So I'm going to push it once and see what it...
Ready to connect.
There we go. Okay. Now we'll hit connect. Now it's going to search for our hub. And I think it's going to see it. Now it's pairing. Yeah. So now it's going to add it to my network there. And they've made this process for their products a lot simpler than it used to be. It used to be a lot more complicated, but now they've really simplified things. And my guess is that we'll have a whole big set of firmware updates to do after this part is over with. Nara Trunks is here. Good morning. Glad you like the streams. Paul Bakewell is here.
Connection is successful.
All right. How about that? That's what I like to hear. Okay, so now we have to pair up all the other stuff with it. So let's add some devices to your hub. So we will start with, let me do the keypad. So we did that. Press and hold the keypad reset button. Okay, so we're going to hit the reset button, which is where? Hold in, oh, it's on the back of this thing. All right, so I got to take this off and hold the reset button. And it should flash. There we go. Okay. Okay, it talks. Everything talks. Excellent. And I think we'll call this keypad, because right now I only have one of them. But you can pair multiple ones. And that's the other question. How many things can we pair with this? So that's another question I have to answer. Okay. And then it's talking about how to mount the keypad. All right, so then we got that done. And this
Armed. Home.
is backlit, by the way.
Armed. Home. Disarmed.
Cool. And I will see what we do with the buttons here. And then I don't know what this button, I think this is the panic button. I know it is, but I don't want the cops to show up here just yet. So let's figure out what we do next here. Okay, so next up is the Wyze motion sensor.
Ready to connect.
Okay, now this is the old sensor, so I wonder if, hang on a second. It looks like the old sensors work with this also. So that's another thing to note. So I'm going to check that out in a few minutes because I have some of those old sensors kicking around. Okay, so let's go and look at the, oh, they also have a couple other things that are not in this kit. They have a climate sensor, which is temperature, and they have a leak sensor. So you can put it near your pipes if you have like a cottage or something that you're not visiting all the time. So that's pretty neat. All right, so now let's do the Wyze motion sensor V2. And we're going to assign it to the Wyze Sense hub. And we did that. And we're going to hold the reset button until the light flashes. So let's push this button here. So now it's blinking. Or was blinking.
Pairing successful.
There it goes. All right, so we'll call this motion 1. Finish. And we'll do that later. Then it's giving me some tips as to how to place it. So it's telling you that motion within the highlighted area will trigger an event. So I'm not sure how far that range is. And it also has some infrared, obviously an infrared detector, so it wants you to avoid heat sources like lamps or vents. All right, so right now it's clear. And watch this, if I wave my hand over it. It's got like a log. See that? It wasn't instantaneous, was it? But it did detect some motion there. And it looks like it keeps a log down here at the bottom as to how that works. That's pretty cool. All right, I earned a badge. I got lots of badges. All right, so next up, and you can see now it's adding these things to the list. So I can jump into, yeah, let's do the firmware update here. So we're going to upgrade the firmware on the sensor hub here. Looks like we're about 20 or 30 versions behind. And these things get firmware updates all the time. They've got a lot of products in their repertoire now. So we'll let that update. And Paul says that the water sensors are worth every penny. Lag wants to know, how did I get here? That's a good question. I ask that of myself every morning. Anthony Bianco is waking up. Mark says, does the sensor have achievements? Yes, I think it depends on the level of clothing that you're wearing when it sees you. Anthony Bianco says it's not the intruder you're looking for, in his Obi-Wan Kenobi voice. You know, I think I have a pretty high Wyze Gamer score. Let's take a look, because I do have a lot of Wyze badges. So let me take a look and see what I've got. I think go to my account here. Let me take a look and see what my badges are looking like. So I think they store them in a section of your account. Yeah, here we go, badges. So I've got quite a few. So these are all the potential badges I can get, but here's all the ones that I do have. So I got Wyze Cam 1, 2, and 3, Wyze Plugs, Wyze Sense, Wyze Lock. I have a lot of Wyze stuff. I got the Wyze Outdoor. I got the Wyze Cam 3 there, the sensors that we just installed. I got the Video Doorbell Pro. I got more to get though, don't I? I don't have the color bulb. I don't have their handheld vacuum cleaner. Can you activate that over Bluetooth? I don't know. All right, let's go back and see how we're doing here on the firmware update. Looks like it is still updating. So we'll wait for that to come back up. Ooh, this is interesting. Austin says that someone made a Docker-based RTSP server, much better than the official RTSP firmware. That's interesting. Hey, Austin, why don't you email me a link to that? Lon@Lon.TV. I'd like to learn more. All right, I think we are still reboot. Oh, there it goes. Okay, everything's back up. All right, so let's take a look at what happens when I do the contact sensor, because this has not been added yet, so let's add that. And I just want to check and see if we have any firmware updates on this stuff here. Looks like we're good on that. Okay, so next up, we are going to add the contact sensor. So sensors V2, and we'll assign it to that hub. I'll hit next.
Ready to connect.
And I'm going to hit the reset on, wait for it to blink. There it goes.
Pairing successful.
There we go. So it is done. And we'll call this, I'm actually going to install this on my back door there. So we'll do studio door. Finish. And we're going to do a little experiment. So what it wants you to do, it doesn't even have to touch it anymore. So clean the desired mounting location, uncover the adhesive backing, and firmly press each component in place. Ensure that the light blinks when they open. So 20 millimeters max between the two sides of it. And then let's see how quick this thing reacts. All right, ready? Here we go. So it's pretty quick. Maybe. It missed that one. Let's see. Open. Now we're closed again. And think about, I know there's people that actually put this on their mailbox, and these events can trigger things, right? So it can be, you can trigger something to happen. Like you could say through IFTTT, for example, send me a text when this occurs, or even through the app, it'll notify you that the mailbox has been opened. And then we can set up rules. So for example, let me go get my lamp, and I'll show you what I'm going to do here. So I have a Wyze bulb in the lamp. Let me unplug this real quick. This is my demo lamp. You'll see this here in a second. And it's pushing, it works with the A word also, by the way. So I have my lamp here, and I'm going to plug in my lamp. Okay, there we go. Now, the lamp is off, right? The lamp is off. Now what I'm going to do, I can't show this to you now because the lamp is in the way, but we are going to set up a rule. And I'm actually going to do a video on all the different rules that I have set up. So what we're going to do here, let's see if I can do it within the studio door. And let's hit the gear icon here and go to rules. So I'm going to hit the plus button here, and we're going to go to device trigger. So we'll call this lamp test. All right, so what we're going to do, thank you, Austin, I will check it out. Let me go back to here. I'm not even showing you what I'm doing. Sorry, one second, let me start again. So we're going to go to create a rule. Hang on. Let's go back. So go to rules, create a rule. We're going to do device trigger. I'm going to call this lamp test. Actions. So, actually, wait a minute. We got to set the trigger first. Device trigger. When studio door opens, we're going to, and you can have to do a whole bunch of different stuff, but we're going to have it turn the studio table lamp on. All right? Pretty simple to start with. So now, when this motion trigger thing gets triggered, it will result in this thing going on. Ready? So ready? So I'm going to open this up. Aha! Look at that. Pretty cool, huh? But it doesn't turn off when I put it back together because I need to do more stuff to it. Alberto is asking about Wyze. Very confused by it. Yeah, so Wyze makes a lot of low-cost IoT devices. So right now, let me go back to my Amazon app here. Right now, I'm using one of their light bulbs in this lamp here. And these are smart bulbs. They're similar to smart bulbs you might get somewhere else, or cameras or anything else. But what's been neat about Wyze over the years is that the stuff is decent and it's inexpensive. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a lot of these things out there. So I use Wyze plugs, for example, on my studio lights. So when I come down here to shoot a video, rather than going around and turning everything on, I hit this, and it turns on all my lights. And these are just plugs that you plug stuff into. So they've got a lot of this cool stuff that is affordable, and they sell enough of this that they've become. They have a lot of investors and everything else, but they've sold enough of this stuff that they've become large enough to produce a pretty high quality product. So it's not cheap stuff, although the price makes you think it is, but they're really good. So for example, I've got what we're playing with here. I've got their doorbell camera. I have a bunch of their indoor cameras, which I've got set up all over the house. I'm going to do a video about groupings because it might be helpful. I've got their outdoor camera that monitors my garage. I got light bulbs up all over the place. During the holidays, we had the outdoor plug system here that connects up with the Wi-Fi. Again, a smart plug, but it is rated for outdoors. And then I've got like all my Christmas. We still have the Christmas stuff up. I have all the Christmas stuff on a single thing. So if I hit this here, all the trees in the house turn on. So it's inexpensive. It works with the Amazon A Word and Google. It does not yet work with Apple HomeKit, but it will soon because they're adding. They're going to be part of that. What do they call it? Thread. They're going to be part of Thread, which is the new standard for everything that Apple's bought into. So it'll eventually work with HomeKit, but right now it doesn't. Now we're going to add another rule here because. So let's add a new rule because I want the light. So right now, when I open this up, the light turns on, but it doesn't turn off when I close the door. So maybe I want the light to turn off when I close the door. So I'm going to go back to device trigger, and we're going to call this door shut. And the device trigger will be, back to our studio door, it will be when the door closes. I could also set it for when the door has been closed, but let me show you what I mean by that. I can also set it for when it's been closed for a certain length of time. So I can have the light stay on for like 5 minutes after it closes, or I can just have it go immediately when it closes. So we'll say closes. The action I want it to take is I want it to turn the studio table lamp off. So now we've got two rules which complement each other. So you will see in a second here how this works. All right, you ready? So now we're going to open the door. The door is open. The light is on. The door is closed. The light turns off. So let me turn off my studio lights and we'll get a better demo here. So let's go studio group. Okay, ready? So now we're going to take our door sensor, simulate and open. Light is on. Simulate a close. Light is off. Light on. Light off. And then, turn my lights back on here. See how great it is to have all this stuff working like this? Because it's like, it's all on my phone. And I could talk to my A-word or my Google thing. But we will see how that goes. All right, let me see. We got some more comments on here. Mark Dell is full of the dad jokes here. I would consider myself a wise guy at this point. You know why? Because they're not paying me to do this stuff. I like their stuff. I buy their things all the time. My wife made me buy a whole case, not a whole case, but a whole collection of their plugs to get all the Christmas stuff going. Yeah, Paul, I may play around with that. I'm curious to see what that's about. Yeah, so this is what Matter and Thread and all this other stuff that they're talking about. I think it's called Thread. Maybe it's Matter. There's an effort afoot to get all of this centralized and ubiquitous, because right now, at this moment, it is not. It is starting. So on my Mac right now, I do have in my network setting here is openthread.thread.home.arpa, which means that my IoT devices are going to start showing up to my Apple devices on the network. It's not yet fully baked. I don't know if the standard is fully put together yet, but it's getting there. And that, I think, is coming, but not yet. All right, so now, what else can we play around with here? Let's take a look at the keypad, because I'm curious as to how this thing works. So let's go into, let me move the lamp out of the way here for a minute. Put the lamp down over there. I want to mess around with the keypad. And yes, I need some recommendations for moisturizers. I keep my hands, this time of year, it's awful. I need to get I thought my central air had like a built-in humidifier, but I don't know if it does. So I've got to mess around with that a little bit more. Okay, so now I want to mess around with this keypad. I'm not sure what we can do with this. So let's go to keypad. All right, so it's that. Device info. Yeah, they don't give you much on this thing. So I can arm the system, I think. Is it on? It's not talking to me.
Enter PIN. Press the check mark to unlock.
Okay, so I don't even know what the PIN number is. We may have to consult the instructions on how to set up the keypad. This was pretty easy to set up, wasn't it? It wasn't that difficult. All right, so let's consult the manual here. So the Wyze keypad. How to use your system. What are modes? Disarm mode will allow cameras to be on duty and will not trigger an alarm. Home mode will monitor your home's perimeter through sensors on your doors and windows. So this will turn the cameras off, but will have the motion sensors be on. Okay, so how to disarm. Enter your PIN and press the check mark to your desired mode. All right, let me try this again here. I don't know what the PIN number defaults to. It seems like a little delayed in its reaction to things. So go into the home monitoring tab. Scroll down to monitoring settings. Okay, so let's go. So I wonder if maybe this doesn't work without the subscription. They said it did. But I don't see a lot that I can configure here. And the firmware's up to date. Oh, there's another firmware update on the hub. All right, so let's do that update. So Anthony's going to wait a little bit. Yeah, they're going to get there with everything. Right now, this works with. So this does work with Amazon and Google. So upstairs, I have a Google Home, and I just tell it, we want to turn the Christmas lights off. I just tell it, turn off Christmas, and it turns off every Christmas light. So we have We have a little tree upstairs. We've got the tree downstairs. Yes, I know it's February. We have another thing that lights up, and then we've got the outdoor lights. So with one word command, because I put them all in a group, with one word I can turn off the whole bulk of everything with Google, and I could do the same with the Amazon thing. Or you can set up rules within the Wyze app, but you don't have that level of just shouting out the command Star Trek style and have it work like that. So we'll wait for this to update here and see what we get. Oh, you know what I can also do? Let me go find my other Wyze sensors. The batteries might be dead on them because they've been sitting around for a while. So I know they're on the table here somewhere. Ah, here we go. Oh, in fact, I have some brand new ones. Okay, the firmware is up to date. So let's see if our keypad has anything else that it can do. Yeah, I wonder if this keypad is tied into the home monitoring system. I bet you that it is, because this looks like there's a yeah, we're going to have to dig into this a little bit. Let me see how this works. Yeah, I'm going to have to talk to them about that. I have a feeling that this doesn't really work unless you are using the home monitoring. He said that it could be configured, but I'm not seeing any way to configure it. All right, we'll take a look at that. And one of the things that I've been doing with the Wyze stuff, and you know, their desire is for everybody to get subscriptions because they want that recurring revenue. What I like about Wyze versus some of the others is that they don't require it, and you don't lose a lot of features if you don't pay. And that's one of the differences between them and some of the others that just try to, you know, they get you in the door with something cheap and then they just ding you forever with it. All right, so I'm just gonna, looks like there's a firmware update for my outdoor thing. So while that's going, why don't we take out one of these older sensors and see if these work. So this is the old sensor. So they don't make these anymore, but it looks like it's compatible. So let's take a look and see. This is the old motion sensor. And I'm pretty sure we have to activate the battery on this. Yeah, the battery's popped out. Let's see. It uses like one of these big old batteries here. So let's put that in place. I will say I think these new sensors are more robust and easier to set up. All right, so now I have to get out a little pin because I have to hit the reset button on the outside. Usually I have a thing in the box, but that is not present there at the moment. But I do have a SIM popper here. So we're going to hit the plus icon here. We're going to add a device. And we're going to go to sensors, and we're going to go to the original motion sensor, and we're going to attach it to our main hub. There it goes, the light's flashing. Hey, it works. We'll call this old sensor. And I'm pretty sure, I wonder if you can still find these on Amazon. Let's see. me 1 second here, folks. Hang on 1 second, folks. I got to look. Okay, so now we have that sensor. Now it's detecting motion because there's a lot going on over here. So I'm going to move the sensor out of the way, get it into a spot where there's nothing in front of it. And this is the old one. So now we have 2 of these motion sensors. I've got the old sensor and the new sensor. And it's still picking up motion. And I think it's probably because it sees me and its little... Let me move it into a different spot. I'm going to move it away from everything. And let's see what happens now. And I'm really curious as to what the range is going to be on these things. So I'm going to wait for it to stop, for it to settle down, and then we'll see what it picks up after the fact. But I really think this keypad is not going to work without the home monitoring. And the home monitoring, I don't think it's all that expensive. Let me see what... take a look here. I'm just waiting for this thing to settle down. It's still picking up motion. There it goes. Okay, so now it's clear. And I think the other one is probably picking up motion because I am sitting next to it. Yep, that one's definitely. So I'll move, kind of angle it that way. And I forgot how long it takes for them to kind of clear themselves out, but clearly it seems to work with both the old sensors and the new sensors, which is awesome. And ideally, what I think I would like to be able to do is get one of these things in my mailbox so that, but it just probably won't work because the mailbox is metal, so there's no way for its signal to get out there back to the base station. So I think I could like set this thing up at the top of my, pointed out the window at the mailbox, but I don't know if that would work. I'll give it a shot and see if we can get it to work. And A.D. Brown says that the on takes longer than the off on Amazon. So let's see. Let's go back to the new motion sensor. So I just waved in front of it. Yeah, it's not like an immediate thing. It really does take it a second. It's going to pick it up. Yep, see that? So it's very much a delayed thing. So let's take a look at the other one. So this is the old one. I'm going to walk in front of it and see if it is picking me up by the time I get back to the table. So I just walked in front of it, and yep, yeah, they are a little delayed. They do, as A.D. Brown says here, the on does take a little bit longer on those. But we did find that take a look at my lamp over here. This works a lot faster. So while this is not quite a light switch, it's faster in detecting a door opening, for example. But it seems to work pretty decently. I got to figure out how this home monitoring thing works, because it looks like the keypad doesn't seem to allow me to set up anything without getting the monitoring system established. Because then I've got to go to the Wyze webpage here, and it's going to ask me to pick a plan. So it's $60 a year for the plan. And they give, all right, so they'll send you, so if you buy the non-subscription version, I guess they give you like a 6-month coupon in the box or whatever. So I will get this set up, because I do have on my other one that I bought, there's a 6-month option that comes with it. But for live home monitoring, $60 a year is not bad. in my opinion. But yeah, it looks pretty complete there. Yeah, so there's not much to much more to look at here, I think, until I really get into the nitty-gritty on the home monitoring system. Because I do not see any way to configure this keypad to do anything. Let me see what happens. Actually, let me look back here and see if I push the button, if it does anything to my cameras. So I've got, like my garage camera, for example. Yeah, so I hit away, nothing happens. Yeah, so I got to dig a little bit more into that. We shall see. Anthony Bianco wants to know any new mini PCs. Actually, yes, I'm getting one in the near future. It is an older Ryzen-based processor, but on a new machine. I think it is Chewy that's sending it to me. I think that's who's sending one in. And I've been contemplating picking up the Atari VCS just because they're available, and it looks like a fairly decent thing there. But yeah, it is pretty good, pretty good. All right, well, everybody, this was a quick one today, primarily because everything just worked. This was not hard. So I got a few things to play around with. Namely, I want to see what the range is on this. So I might set this up in a different part of the house and see how far it goes, and kind of take it from there. But I think it seems to be doing pretty well here. And I might take the sensor out with me in different parts of the house and just see what it does. I'm going to look at the notifications here. Let's take a look at that real quick. So right now I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, so every time this opens, I should get pushed a notification. So we'll see what it does. Yeah, I've been getting mixed reviews on whether or not I should pick up the Atari VCS. And I'm kind of met on it also, although I'm more curious about it, not so much as a game console, but as a computer. I got that curiosity because of the video I did on Monday about this whole Intellivision thing. And, you know, like, Atari managed to get it built. And I'm sure they went with some, you know, stock design for an AMD device, but yeah, I think it works pretty good. So everybody, I got to run, but I'm going to do some more testing with this today and tomorrow, and hopefully, I think I'm pretty close to being ready to shoot a video on it soon thereafter. And I'm guessing I got to get this I got to get the service set up so I can see how that whole thing works. 'Cause I don't think this keypad seems to work without the service, but I will double check on that and figure it out. So yeah, let me know what you all think in the comments. Give me a like or whatever. And if you're on Amazon, definitely hit the follow button like a number of you have done. So that would be great, so that you can see when I come back and do more of this kind of stuff. But this was the Wyze home monitoring bundle that now can work without a subscription, but I think this part doesn't work without the subscription. I need to confirm that with them. And we'll see where that goes. Frank Crumber wants to know, does the V3 camera work without a subscription? Let's take a look. Or with the RTSP. So I'm going to go on their website here. I think it does not work with 3. Oh wait, yes, it does. There is an RTSP firmware for the 3 as well. And if you go to the WyzeCam RTSP support page, you will find information there. So there you go. Yeah, so I think I'm off to a good start here. So I got to do a little bit more homework on this, but I will be back before you know it. So thank you all for tuning in. And I'm going to go play around and see how far the range is on this thing. And let me know what you would like to see in the full review in the comment section if you missed the chat. And yeah, this is slightly quicker than... That is very true. And Martin's got the V3 camera set up without the subscription. Yeah, if you put the SD card in, you've got a really good little system there. So yeah, there you go. Thank you, Mark Dell. Thank you as always for your support and running Discord and whatnot. And yeah, I'll be back probably Friday with something. I got that retro magazine thing we got to do. And I'm going to be going to New York for a meeting, so I'm going to go do that and may have a video from that meeting. It'll be kind of fun. Kind of a little dispatch video. I haven't done one of those in a while. So stay tuned. More to come, and I will catch you all on the next stream. Bye-bye for now.